Welcome to Conversational Currency. We are Maryland's top small business talk show. This is a special edition of Conversational Currency. I'm your host, Shadidi Laser. Ladies and gentlemen, communication is a superpower, and Conversational Currency examines the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era, told through the stories of today's business and thought leaders. Now, through the story of our guests and current events, we will answer the question: if you are able to say the right words in the right moments to every man or woman in a business setting, how different would your quality of life be? Now is your time to claim your digital assets execution plan. This is your step-by-step guide to package your skills and create the perfect vehicle to escape the time for money trap. Your next step is to browse mrshadi.com/assets and claim your free plan. Now, speaking of the freedom to create the life you want through the digital assets execution plan, this topic this evening is right in line with creating the life you want, creating the freedom you want, in that we have the privilege, the pleasure to share the airwaves with a high performance athlete, someone who has taken a skill and honed that skill through daily dedication, practice, and consistency to reach the highest of levels of competition and to build that into a career. And with those high income skills, with those valuable skills, to help others. And through her story of transitioning from athlete to successful transition coach, you will learn the lessons of how to create that successful exit from your business, from your career. What happens when you reach the pinnacle, and how do you build that lifestyle around that success? Now, we're going to be talking early retirement roadmap. And there's only one person in the world who I trust to discuss this topic. Now, we are talking to a Sochi 2014 Winter Olympian, Russian national medalist, and numerous medalists from around the world through competition. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to plan our exit strategy with our guest, Olympian Elena Muratova. Welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Shadid. And hello, everybody who's listening or watching to us right now. So excited to be here today with you.
Wonderful. Now, when we talk about high performance skills and we talk about the success that comes from taking a path in honing it for success, it oftentimes can be hard to walk away. Now, when we talk about success, can you please share with us some of the things that we can do as we're building our brand, as we're building our business, as we're beginning to reach our levels of success, to start to think about life beyond that point of success?
Yeah, definitely. And you're so right that it's going to be hard, extremely hard to go away and start something new. And sometimes we just, we need to do that step at some point in our life, because we all have different values and interests and other needs that we want to satisfy. So, and especially being a professional athlete, and I know many other people doing their business or being successful in their career, they experience the same, that they really focus on what they are doing. They put a lot of effort and time and energy in achieving something. And then doing all that, of course, we also build our identity around that activity. We build our structure around that. We have a lot of meaning from all of these activities. And in reaching that, the end goal or the end purpose, it's very just gives so much satisfaction to us. So when we actually finally achieve that goal, it's hard to go away, because we need to leave behind so much. Like, we enter a totally new stage sometimes, and behind we're leaving all this that's so familiar to us, and here in front of us something novel, something we don't know how to deal with it. And the one of the biggest challenges, it's always uncertainty, because again, like here in this world, I know everything, I know how things works, I know how to communicate with people, I know how to do something to achieve success. But then when we move to the new stage, it can be this uncertainty that create a lot of anxiety and stress and overwhelm, like, okay, like what now? Yeah, and of course there are many other questions that we deal with, like, who am I now without my career or my sport? Like, for me it was incredibly difficult.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are an Olympian, and there are very few people on the planet who have achieved the ability, the honor to compete for their country in the Summer Olympics as well as the Winter Olympics. What lessons have competing in the Olympic Games taught you about life?
Oh, many lessons actually. Oh, the first lesson, to be honest with everybody, was not very pleasant, because for me, my sport was everything. Like, I really put all the eggs in one basket. And I focused so much. Like, I started to ski when I was 3 years old. So like entire life was focused around training and competing and achieving that goal. Like, I dreamt about going to Olympic Games since I was a child. And I had some ups and downs, knee injuries and surgeries on my way. So it wasn't easy, of course. But I always wanted to achieve that goal, um, just because I enjoyed doing skiing, but also for me, it was something that I hoped would bring more happiness in my life, more satisfaction. And then finally, when I achieved that goal, I realized that nothing happened so much in my life. It was great, of course. It was a lot of excitement and amazing emotions that I experienced in this sense of accomplishment as well. But also, it brought me this question, like, okay, what's next? Like, now I'm here. I was 27 years old, and I didn't know what, like, what I wanted to do next with my life. So it was a big lesson, kind of an understanding that when we want to achieve something, we really need to plan beyond that point. That, yeah, we can focus all our attention and energy on reaching that goal, but then there is life beyond that goal. And I didn't plan at all.
Yes. Now, I have a saying when it comes to areas of competition, where in all areas of athletics as well as business, never bet against an Olympian, because there's a certain competitive drive and a certain mindset that Olympians have. Now, for your transition into life after sports as well as launching a business, what are some skills? What are some, let's say, transferable areas and attributes do you feel being an Olympian has given you in terms of starting new and building a business?
Yeah, I guess one of the important um, traits of my personality was a persistent, and also this ability to overcome failures, because of course sports requires a lot of faults. And as I said, it always like ups and downs. So to achieve something, you really need to be able to get up and continue. So it was very helpful for my life after sport, because again, like I entered the new chapter and I didn't know many things there, and I did make mistakes, but this persistent and this skills that I learned from sport was very helpful just to keep going, to keep going. But also another skill is just to, I guess, look for right people or look for some help, because in sport it is always a teamwork, even if it's individual sport like skiing, but there are always coaches and doctors and teammates and other people. So there are people who support, who give you advice and tips and help you, to overcome all the challenges. So it was another skill that I transferred, just to be able to surround myself with right people.
Now, when it comes to the transition process, much of what you shared about your Olympic experience and your mindset at the peak of your athletic powers mirrors and is very similar to the entrepreneurial journey, where many entrepreneurs define themselves by their work and they put all of their eggs into the entrepreneurial basket. And so knowing what you know now and the wisdom of going through this time of having to redefine yourself, what would be your advice to those individuals who are working so much, spend so little time with family, make little time for activities for their health? What would you share based on what you've learned on your journey?
Yeah, so the first question that people need to ask themselves when they go through life transition, or they're thinking about life transition in the near future, is just to revise their values. It just, again, because when we focus on one specific activities, like being in a business, we, focus on this sort of values, and we can forget focusing on other areas of our life. So, and sometimes we lose touch with ourselves from this perspective. It was very helpful for me to just to think about myself, my preferences, my interests beyond sport, beyond my career. I actually needed to explore myself in this area, because when I was an athlete, I didn't have time very often to just pursue my other passions and interests. And I didn't have time for my family so much too. So I was kind of finding myself again, if I can say this. And I did it through exploring what I liked, what I disliked, actually just thinking about my values. So it's a first step. And to do so, I really advise people to take some step back sometimes and provide, just get the space and time for themselves, so they can think clearly about the next stage and really plan, really be intentional about that. Yeah.
Now, what conversations does a person who is struggling with finding that identity outside of their business, outside of their life, outside of their talent, what conversations do they need to have with family, friends, and loved ones in order to help them to develop that new identity? Is there anything that a support system can do to make that process and transition easier?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Having somebody nearby, it's so helpful. The first question the person need to ask himself or herself is, you know, who I am, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Just again to explore the, other parts of our identities. For me, like my identity was being an athlete, for so many years. So it really took me some time to explore who I was beyond that identity, because there are so many different aspects. Like, I can share four parts people can explore. So the first one is our like physical
Mm-hmm.
being, in terms of, I am a woman, I am bald, I'm, whatever, strong or flexible, or any other qualities people can explore, not necessarily related to their current activity, but just kind of understand themselves a little bit more better. Another aspect, of course, it's social activity. And sometimes we can think of ourselves as, okay, I'm a business owner or an entrepreneur, so it's all my like social activity. And then there can be, of course, a partner or a parent or a son, but there is so many groups we can belong to, and we can strengthen our identity by actually recognizing that. Like, I personally, I like to play guitar, so I like to think about myself as just this person who belongs to that big group of people who likes play guitar, like play guitar. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just kind of be a little bit more creative in this way, and then also different our personality traits and allow our interests again. Like, some people like to cook, some people like to travel in specific countries or whatever, even small details,
Mm-hmm.
because we're so used to thinking about our identity as something, just something very big and related to one specific area. Yeah, but just ask yourself this question, who I am, and just sit down and write answers that comes to your mind, and as many as you can. If
Mm-hmm.
you can only three, it's okay, but try to explore. And with your family, conversation can be just um, let them know if you struggle with something, if you need their help. And it's so challenging sometimes to talk about um, some struggles we experience going through life transitions, but it's very helpful to talk to people. And again, like, even we sometimes don't need any help from others. We just sometimes need to talk to somebody and share what we are going through. And if we have good relationship with our family members or friends, they can be a huge support to us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when it comes to the idea of the high performance person who defines themselves by their work, and let's say they actually follow your steps and they retire early, they build the lifestyle, but now they're going crazy because they want to start a new business and they want to go to work again and can't leave the work that they've created. They can't sit on a beach for 2 hours, or they can't just go for a long walk. They're always, after years and years and years of work and years of competing to be the best or defining themselves by a higher standard, they are struggling with the new life that they're creating. What is your advice to people who are making the transition, but they feel called to go back to what they know with their work, their sport, their passion that has driven them for so long?
Yeah. Oh wow, it's going to be so challenging. I know. um, the things that usually help is to find new meaning in your life, and we all can do it and find numerous meanings in every day of our life. And again, like, I'm not talking about, the huge meaning of our life or some huge purpose, but it can be this like little things that we can all experience and do. So basically there are like three ways to find meaning in every day. The first one is what we get from the world, from our experiences. So basically, it's um, in some sort about mindfulness, and just start to notice the life around us, and start to notice experiences that we get from this, through our bodies, through conversation with other people, through participation in some events, anything. So like these positive experiences that we get from interactions with ourselves or with the world around us. And the second part is through what we give to the world. And it's not necessary that we need to give something big and something huge all the time, have this big purpose. It can be anything where we bring part of our personality into like we can bring a little bit of ourselves in conversation with our friend, in relationship with anybody, in our hobbies, in the way we clean the house, even in that. And the third way is through the attitude we take to some situations. And sometimes life transitions can be hard because we don't choose them. Sometimes something happens and we need to go to the next stage. So in that situation, especially, it's just so helpful to find this meaning through the attitude we take towards that specific situation. Sometimes we cannot change it. Yeah. So just trying to find this new meaning for yourself through these different things can be very helpful, because not having meaning, it's so hard. It just, and that is why that past life can pull us back so intensively. And another thing is just to create structure for yourself, because when we don't have structure in life, we can have more anxious, more stressed. Structure really create us some support in our life, something that holds us. So when we end that part of our life, we can still take some structure. Like, I don't know, for example, I remember I hated wake up and in the morning and go, to this like warm up activities first thing in the day. It was a part of our routine as an athlete. But now I use it because something that just give me structure, something that I like doing. I don't, of course, do a lot of exercises as I did before, but just going for a walk gives me this sense of, that, oh, I started my day, I have the structure, and it's like, it's just reduces stress and gives more satisfaction. So actually thinking about how to spend our day, because it's great to have 2 hours on the beach, but if we don't have any plans for the day, we can feel overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Excellent. Now, on behalf of my audience, I thank you for sharing your insights on how you came to be, your competition, and finding that balance after competition that allowed you to live the life that you find today. Now, there are people who want to take the next step in terms of you have a private webinar where you're going to go deeper into these topics. Please tell us more about it.
Yeah, I will be so excited to see people there. And it's happening tomorrow, the same time, 3 p.m. my time, Pacific time, and 6 p.m. your time. It is 90 minutes training. So in the beginning, I will share a little bit more about my story, and then we will go deep into the training. So basically go with you through all the 6 steps which people need to take to successfully transition to a new chapter. I will explain every step. And then in the end, I will invite people to the next level if they're interested. If not, they can ask me any questions they have, and I will be so happy to answer and help them with any transitions they're going through.
Ladies and gentlemen, Olympians come around every once in a while. And so what you can learn from an Olympian is a lifetime of dedication, consistency, showing up when sick, injured, and in some cases, not wanting to be there. And when it comes to your business, when it comes to your career, when you come to your life, that focus is exactly what you need to break through. What we have the opportunity to take advantage of is a session where your questions get answered about how to perform at the highest level, how to show up, how to create structures and routine as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a creator, and as a leader. And so tomorrow, Wednesday, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will have the opportunity to have a conversation and listen to Elena's story, Elena's lessons, and her framework in order for you to take the information and leave with a clear path forward. The link to register for Wednesday's training will be in the description. So, on behalf of Elena Muratova, I am Shadidi Laser, and this has been Conversational Currency, where we focus on the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era through the lens of today's business and thought leaders. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us. And for that, we appreciate you. We thank you for tuning in. See you tomorrow on the private training.